this episode of Tax Insights Podcast, Jeff explains the IRS penalty relief that will benefit millions of Americans. The relief, which was sparked by COVID-related challenges, targets late payment penalties incurred when the IRS temporarily halted notices. Discover the intricacies of forgiveness criteria, how it affects those who followed the rules, and the automatic refund process initiated by the IRS.
Hey Jeff, on today's program, we want to talk about something that the IRS did back at the end of 2023, back in December. You were talking about an IRS penalty relief for several million Americans.
That's right. So like you said, in late December, what the IRS did is they essentially gave penalty relief on nearly 5 million returns from 2020 and 2021. And this is some of the COVID-related things. You know, at that point, the IRS was not sending out some notices, and so people weren't paying their bills, and so they received some late payment penalties. And the IRS has decided now that they're going to forgive some of those.
So how do they decide who to forgive, who qualifies? Walk us through all that stuff, because this is impacting, like we said, millions of Americans. So how do we know if you are one of these?
Yeah, it really does, because what happened is back in February of 2022, the IRS basically stopped sending out mailings with reminders of people that owed taxes for the years 2020 and 2021. And as we know, Terry, even if we know we owe taxes, if we don't get that reminder bill from the IRS,
sure,
sometimes those don't get paid.
Right.
And so what the IRS did is they said, okay, since we stopped sending you reminder letters, we're just going to go ahead and forgive any interest during that period, knowing that, you may have forgotten about them or just not paid them or whatever. So the IRS is doing this automatically. So they're taking bills that people have that maybe they paid or maybe they haven't paid, and they're just forgiving those penalties and interest.
It's a little frustrating, shall I say, maybe, for those that then paid their bills, paid the interest, and now the IRS comes back and says, well, for those that didn't, we're going to wipe it clean. I mean, like, it feels a little, you got penalized if you followed the rules.
Well, that's right. So if you followed the rules and you didn't get any penalties, obviously you did it the right way. But one of the things that the IRS also said is that if you went ahead and paid your bills during this time and there was penalties associated with that they're going to even refund those penalties that you've already paid to make those people also whole.
Okay. I think that then is a big factor in this, because, again, sometimes it's unfortunate for those that follow the rules, make the payments, and then for those that don't, and all of a sudden, hey, you don't have to pay it, but that's not necessarily the entirety of this.
And that's exactly right. So what happens is that the IRS is going to be looking at these within their systems, and they're just automatically going to send these refunds out. So there's nothing a taxpayer needs to do.
Got it.
In order to get those refunds. They'll just come in the mail along with a letter. And so some people are going to get late Christmas gifts this year, I think.
Yeah. Hey, that's okay. Jeff, a lot of great information each and every week here in Tax Insights. I know that we're starting to get into your busy season, but we do want to invite listeners, if they need to connect with you and the team over at Hawkins Ash, how do they do that?
I would go right to our website, which is hawkinsash.cpa, or just listen to us on any of our social media